Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're tackling something kind of wild. We are literally bridging the massive gap between grand, cosmic astrology and, wait for it, the highly mundane reality of tax compliance. I know, the IRS and the cosmos, total odd couple. But as you'll see, when we look at the placement of the sun in the ninth house, it gives us a surprisingly profound framework for how we handle our money, our ethics, and our responsibilities. It's not just about, filing your paperwork on time. It's really about the core of who we are.
So here's a stark question to get us started. Think about this for a second. Is honesty a part of your financial karma, even when absolutely nobody is watching? We usually think of tax compliance as this strictly legal chore, right? Something we do just because we're terrified of an audit. But if we reframe it right from the start, it completely changes the conversation. It forces us to ask, does our honesty hold up without supervision? Are we acting out of character or just out of caution?
Let's look at Section 1, the Sun and Ninth House, defining the cosmos.
Starting with the ninth house. In Vedic astrology, this house honestly couldn't care less about your basic budgeting or daily accounting. Instead, it governs dharma, wisdom, law, and morality. We're talking big picture here, profound principles and justice, definitely not just spreadsheets. It rules those deep, often unspoken beliefs that quietly shape every single decision we make. It's literally the domain of our highest ideals.
And sitting right there inside that ninth house, we have the sun. Now, the sun represents your core integrity, your self-respect, authority, truth, and personal character. It acts as this ultimate seeker of truth and inner alignment within that philosophical ninth house space. It basically shines a massive, unmistakable spotlight on our deepest values and, demands that we actually live up to them.
When you drop the sun into the ninth house, it's essentially asking one continuous, probing question. Do your actions and your values stay connected? Because true honesty, it isn't just about avoiding a penalty. It's about holding on to your character when a shortcut suddenly appears right in front of you. A financial declaration that's completed truthfully, without the fear of getting caught, carries a completely different cosmic weight. It proves that your rules guide you even in your most private, unguarded moments.
Moving right along to Section 2, Character Rather Than Caution, the Anatomy of Temptation.
People love to talk a big game about honesty, but fewer actually practice it when the doors are closed. Look at these common triggers: a missing receipt, or maybe a small, unreported income source, a slightly exaggerated deduction, a hidden transaction. These are so mundane, but they show us how moral compromises almost never start as these huge, cinematic events. You don't just wake up one day and decide to commit massive fraud. It starts as a quiet little negotiation with your own conscience. Just a tiny rationalization here, a minor omission there.
The thing is, the ninth house is all about principles rather than convenience. And let's be real for a second. Principles are super easy to admire when you're comfortable, but they get incredibly tough when a nice little profit sits right on the opposite side of the ledger. Our financial lives constantly throw these moments at us where immediate gain quietly competes with lasting integrity. The choice you make right then might be completely invisible to the rest of the world, but it is never invisible to you. You always know.
This brilliantly highlights the exact difference between reputation and integrity. The sun values dignity way more than just appearance. Reputation? That just depends on what others believe about you. You can easily manipulate that, but integrity depends purely on what we know about ourselves. You could be wildly successful publicly, have everyone think you're an absolute genius, and still carry this heavy, exhausting burden of private doubt. Financial honesty creates this whole, undivided self-respect that external applause just cannot replace.
Up next is Section 3, When Complexity Tempts Us, Modern Financial Life.
All right, we got to address the elephant in the room. Just look at how fractured our money is today. It provides endless, convenient excuses to bend the rules. We're talking digital income, side hustles, investment gains, freelance earnings, international wire transfers, a dozen different apps and accounts. This overwhelming financial complexity is essentially a breeding ground for selective honesty. It makes us feel justified in picking and choosing what's quote-unquote important enough to disclose. It creates this smokescreen where we tell ourselves, well, my finances are really complicated, so the truth can be a little flexible.
But the sun quietly poses this really piercing question when we're staring down our messy modern finances. Does truth become optional when complexity increases? Really think about that. Just because something is hard to track, does that magically give us a moral pass to hide it? The ninth house says absolutely no way. The standard of truth doesn't just drop because the paperwork gets annoying.
But hey, I want to reassure you here, because the ninth house also governs learning. Financial mistakes can absolutely become teachers rather than permanent definitions. If you've messed up or taken a shortcut in the past, catching that error, correcting the record, and choosing transparency moving forward, that changes way more than just your bottom line. It actively strengthens your character. Real personal growth starts the exact second your honesty outvalues your pride.
Which brings us to Section 4, Shaping Your Financial Karma, the Accumulation.
So the crucial takeaway here is that real authority, the true energy of the sun, is self-governance. External laws definitely create boundaries, sure, but inner discipline, that creates actual freedom. When you choose financial honesty without needing a tax authority breathing down your neck, you build a totally different relationship with responsibility. You're basically transforming forced compliance into a powerful, voluntary, personal conviction.
Karma accumulates so quietly through ordinary, honest actions over time. It rarely gives you immediate feedback, but notice how every single accurate declaration in Step 1 naturally leads to the responsible decisions in Step 2, which then builds that rock-solid financial stability and unshakable personal confidence in Step 3. These moments seem so mundane, literally just hitting submit on a form, but over time, they are the absolute building blocks of your life's foundation.
The ninth house reminds us that true wisdom is intensely practical. It lives in our everyday decisions, not just in some distant, lofty philosophy. A carefully maintained financial record might actually express your personal ethics more clearly than 100 inspiring words ever could. I mean, honest bookkeeping is a profound act of discipline. Transparent reporting is a huge expression of respect for the shared agreements, the roads, the schools, the institutions that let our entire society function. Small actions really do reveal large values.
I want to end this explainer by leaving you with one final provocative thought. Does your private financial life truly reflect the values your heart claims to believe? Because honesty isn't measured by applause. It's measured during those silent, late-night decisions with your calculator that nobody else will ever know about. I really hope this look at the sun in the ninth house has given you a fresh perspective on your own financial karma. Thanks so much for exploring this with me. Keep learning, keep questioning, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.